All right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Before I welcome our District 6 Councilwoman, Melissa Cabello-Haverda, I'd like to share that this meeting is designed to be a video conference. If you're joining by using audio only or by phone, there may be portions of the meeting with audio outages. We kindly ask that you hang tight during these brief moments and appreciate your patience. Also, we have a Spanish translator on site, so if Spanish translations are needed, please leave a comment in the chat so that the presentation can be given in Spanish. If not, the remainder of tonight's conversation will resume in English, so we'll take a moment to see if anyone is requesting translation. So it looks like the remainder of this conversation will resume in English. Before we dive in, I am happy to welcome our District 6 Councilwoman, Melissa Cabello-Haverda, who has a few words to share with us. Councilwoman.
Thank you, Bianca. Good evening, everyone. I'm Melissa Cabello-Haverda, Councilwoman for District 6. Thank you for joining me tonight and the City of San Antonio Department of Arts and Culture for a virtual conversation about Bloom. This evening is about working together to shape the future of public art in District 6. Take this opportunity to understand the proposed plans, hear directly from the artist about her vision and inspiration, ask questions, and provide feedback. Tezel Road Community Facility would be the 7th installation of the Bloom series along the Linear Creekway system and is the work of local artist Leticia Huerta. The installation of these vibrant oversized field flowers is currently scheduled for 2022, so not too far away. The proposed area will serve as a picturesque trailhead for the Howard W. Peak Greenway Trail System, which connects over 60 miles of San Antonio Park. This particular area is off, we mentioned off Tezel Road by where the old Chevron was, and I'm really excited about that area getting developed as a trailhead. Like the linear park system itself, I hope the continuation of the Bloom series in District 6 will help our residents to feel connected with the public art along the Creekway and serve as a whimsical addition to the natural beauty of our city. Thank you again for making the time to join us tonight and ensuring your voice is heard in shaping the future of District 6. As always, please reach out to my office if you need anything, 210-207-7065. Have a great evening, and thank you for the privilege of serving you. Now back to the Department of Arts and Culture and our community partners at the Guadalupe Cultural Arts Center.
Thank you, Councilwoman, for your thoughtful words and support of this project. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bianca Alvarez, and I am the Public Art Project Manager for the Tezel Road Community Facility Bloom Series number 7 project. Thank you for joining us tonight. This presentation will be made available on our website following the event. And I'm here tonight with our gracious virtual co-host, the Guadalupe Cultural Arts Center, who also has a few words to share with us.
Thank you, Bianca. Thank you, Councilwoman, and also thank you to Debbie Recasitter and all the staff of the Department of Arts and Culture with the City of San Antonio. We're happy to host you virtually at the Guadalupe Cultural Arts Center. We look forward to the day when we can host you in person. We have been happy to collaborate with the Department of Arts and Culture on public art projects in the past as well and hosted other events in our facilities. I want to say that the location of this public art project is actually special to us at the Guadalupe Cultural Arts Center because we have many students that come from that area. Many students in our Ballet Folklorico and our Mariachi and Conjunto programs with the Guadalupe Traditional Dance and Music Academy. I also understand that the Bloom Series public art series is going to extend, if I understand correctly, all the way to the inner west side. So I heard about one particular project close to Brazos Street. So it looks like we are going to be connected physically throughout the city, this entire region on the west side of San Antonio, from the inner west side all the way to the outer west side. So I look forward to learning more about tonight's projects. Congratulations to the artists for having this portion completed. And once again, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Cristina, for your words as well. We're going to get into the presentation now. So if you would like to learn more, please, about the Guadalupe Cultural Arts Center, please feel free to visit their website, call, or email for more information, which is on the screen right now and will be shared as part of the presentation after this event. Next slide. Throughout tonight's presentation, you can send questions directly to the Department of Arts and Culture by clicking on the chat icon on the bottom corner of your screen. Make sure that it says "to everyone" so that we can see your questions. And we will do our best to respond before the end of this meeting. If we do not address your questions during this time, we will be sure to follow up afterwards. Slide. Now it's time to get to the project. Today we're looking at the Expanding Bloom series, followed by a message from our artist, Leticia Huerta, and talking about next steps and answering your questions. Next slide. But first, what is public art? The Department of Arts and Culture defines public art as art in a public place that's been through a public engagement process to determine where the art will be placed, who the artist will be, and what will be the inspiration or themes of the art. Every project is approved by our San Antonio Arts Commission, which I believe our District 6 Commissioner, Emily Fleischer, is joining us tonight. So thank you for being here, Emily, and your support. Additionally, projects are managed by a public art project manager like myself and usually paid with public funds. Next slide. Every public art project goes through a rigorous process that includes stakeholder and community engagement and approval for locations and designs from our Public Art Committee in San Antonio Arts Commission, all before moving to fabrication and installation. Lastly, we celebrate the completion of each project with a dedication ceremony that is open to everyone. Right now, we are in the complete community engagement for design stage of the process, where we need your help in determining what the art will look like before the artist begins design. Next slide. Just a little background information. The Department of Arts and Culture has been working closely with the Parks and Rec Department to enhance local parks and greenways with public art. The Linear Creekway System strategy goal is to increase neighborhood connectivity, create a visual identity for the linear creeks, and to place more art on the greenway trails. And pictured here are a few examples of public art you'll find in parks and along the trails. Next slide. As one of the public art projects within the Linear Creekway System strategy, here we're looking at the original installation in the Bloom series, which was completed in January 2019 and installed at Mud Creek at McAllister Park. The concept and design of the oversized metal flowers was conceived by San Antonio artist Leticia Huerta, who will speak about the artwork, her inspiration, and share a bit about herself shortly. Also pictured are images of the native flora that inspired the sculpture's design. As part of our public art process, those flowers were selected through our Essay Speak Up community engagement survey, which is the same approach for the upcoming location we'll be looking at today. Next slide. Given the positive reception of the original installation at McAllister Park, the strategy for growing the series to a system-wide concept was presented and approved by the Public Art Committee and San Antonio Arts Commission in June 2019. Since then, the Department of Arts and Culture has been working closely with the Parks and Rec Department to identify project locations along the Creekway system. This is the full map for all present and future Bloom locations, with the first installation in District 10 at McAllister Park. And the spring of 2021, we have District 1's Riverwalk Bloom and District 5 Brazos Pocket Park. For completion in summer 2021, we have District 8's Eisenhower Park. And in the fall of 2021, District 3 has Bloom coming to Southside Lions Park. and in 2022 for District 1, Mario Farias Park, and lastly, the Tezel Road Community Facility in District 6 for a total of about 17 flowers. Next slide. The location we're focusing on today is at the Tezel Road Community Facility, which is a 2017 bond project managed by the Public Works Department and is set for completion in summer 2022. This community facility will have various uses, including a community garden, park bike patrol substation, and serve as a trailhead for the Howard W. Peak Greenway Trail System, which is a separate project managed by the Parks Department and all in your District 6. Next slide. For more information about the facility or the Greenway Trails project, please contact, we have Stacy Gonzalez, Project Manager for the Public Works Department, or Brandon Ross, Special Projects Manager for the Parks and Rec Department. Their email and phone number is on the screen and will be shared after this presentation. Next slide. So our goal is to plant 2 unique bloom flowers at the Greenway Trailhead as part of the Parks Department scope of the new Greenway Trails and Trailhead construction. Each sculpture is uniquely comprised of oversized bicycle parts to create the shape of the flower, speaking to cyclists and trail enthusiasts. With markers denoting height, the steel stems are engineered to withstand flood zones while functioning as a tool for measurement of inclement weather. Through our survey, we need your help in identifying which flowers you'd like to see here. Next slide. In the very first round of community engagement for this series, 72% of participants stated that it was important for the art to connect to the region's flora. So these native flowers were selected as options included in our Essay Speak Up online survey. 2 out of the 4 flowers pictured here will be selected for the design of Bloom at the Tezel Road Community Facility. The options are Engelmann's Daisy, Cedar Sage, Shrubby Boneset, and Woolly Ironweed. Next slide. By visiting the links on this slide, you can give your input on which flowers you'd like to see at the site. Take our survey on SurveyMonkey or by visiting our website. The survey is also available in Spanish, and the links will be provided in the chat. Please note that the window to provide feedback through the survey or in a direct email to myself closes on October 23rd. We will post a final report of community input on our website by October 30th. Attendees will receive a follow-up email with this information and more detailed instructions. Next slide. Here we're looking at a high-level project schedule with community engagement completion in October 2020, moving to final design by summer 2021, fabrication in the fall of 2021, with an installation and dedication by summer 2022. Next slide. Before we begin with the question and answer portion of today's conversation, please enjoy this message from our Bloom artist, Leticia Huerta. As mentioned earlier, if you're joining by phone, there may be some audio outage and you'll not be able to hear the video. So we appreciate your patience with us and ask that you stay tuned in.
Hello, I'm Leticia Huerta, artist of the Bloom Projects. I am a San Antonio native. I received my BFA in painting here at UTSA and my MFA in Dallas at SMU. And while I was at SMU, I also interned at the Dallas Office of Cultural Affairs, where I was introduced to public art. The first public art project that I worked on there in Dallas was with the Dallas Rapid Transit System at 3 of their light rail stations on their starter line in the early 1990s. It was my first experience working in public art and working with a design team and meeting with the community to gather information that would inform our design process, much as we're doing today. In Dallas, I was working also as a studio artist, exhibiting locally around the state and in the U.S. as well. while continuing to work still for DART and the public art projects there. I moved back home in 1999 and began working on projects here in San Antonio while also teaching at UTSA, at SAC, Incarnate Word. I did that for a few years. So some of my projects here in town include the Woodlawn Lake Project, the UTSA Downtown Project, and University Hospital, and Robert B. Greene, the Downtown Clinic. I also worked on projects throughout Texas, California, North Carolina, and Arizona. And if you want to check out some of my projects, please visit my website. It's just my name, leticiahuerta.com. So the Bloom series began a few years ago when I was selected to work on the project at Mud Creek Trail, which is within McAllister Park. It's a hike and bike trail. And as we went in for the site visit and walked around the trail, I was immediately struck by the beauty of the wildflowers. And so I knew that my concept for this project had to be about them. And so eventually the design became about the wildflowers and bicycles, or the bicycle parts that also to me have an organic feel in that they have circular parts and kind of resemble flowers. So I synthesized the two into the design that you see at Mud Creek in McAllister Park. If you haven't seen them, I think they're on this presentation. So the sculptures also serve as a wayfinding element in that they guide you to the entrance of the trailhead. And the stems on these sculptures have text and lines that tell you about flooding in the area, and which is very important because it is in a floodplain. So my goal overall as a public artist is to create meaningful and inspiring work in spaces that are visited by people for many different types of reasons. Some are transit stations, so you're there briefly, parks, hospitals, schools, or bridges. Each project is different and is inspired by the community, the culture, the environment, the history. The materials vary within each project because of its location or whatever it happens to be, like a bridge or a wall or whatever it is. And in this project, in the Bloom series, I continue to use all of the knowledge and experience that I have in public art, and I will continue to use the wildflower and the bicycle as my inspiration for the projects. And I look forward to reading your comments or hearing your comments to guide me in the design of these new sculptures. Thank you so much.
And now we are ready to take your questions. So please send questions by clicking on the chat icon on the bottom of your screen, and we will allow for a couple of minutes for you to submit any thoughts and questions. Please send them to everyone in the chat area. Looking for some questions here. Okay, we have a question. Hi, Antonia Villarreal, I see your comment in the chat. And this question we just got, can you talk a little more about the connectivity of the Bloom series? So that's a good question. Kind of a threefold answer here. So at each location, each of the 7 locations that we saw on the map earlier, we will have signage and information about each of the project's locations and a little bit about the artwork as well. We are also creating a video that will tie all of the blooms together and will be presented or made available on our website as well. And lastly, as part of our connectivity component at our Riverwalk Public Art Garden, we will have a bloom installation there, so speaking to all of the other bloom locations across the city with more signage and information and a map directing the community and visitors from beyond to all of these other locations in the other districts. Any other questions?
Flowers at each location.
Okay. Will there be repeating flowers at each location, or will they all be different? So we will have different flowers at each location, and so that's something we were very thoughtful or mindful of when constructing the survey as well. We wanted to make sure that each location had its own unique flower, its own unique identity.
Will each location only feature native flowers?
Will each location only feature native flowers? Yes. So the flowers, the list of flowers that were provided, they were given to us by the Parks and Rec Department. So it is important, based on community feedback that we received, that the flowers speak to the region, speak to the area. We want to honor that. Any additional comments or questions here? I'm keeping an eye on the chat. Can we see the flowers again? Yes, if we can scroll up to the flowers slide, please. Right there. Oop. So we have Engelmann Daisy, Cedar Sage, Shrubby Boneset, and Woolly Ironweed. And a question from our councilwoman: has there been any public feedback on the Bloom series in District 6 or other districts so far? Some very valuable feedback, actually, that we received on our virtual meeting last week for the Mario Farias Park location was about bike safety and education. So I think that was some very valuable and critical feedback that we will definitely incorporate into this project, whether it's in our signage or in the video as well. And there's another comment that has come in: gratitude to Councilwoman Melissa and team. Will there be any education about the climate, how wildflowers are often traditional indigenous medicine, that wildlands may be in jeopardy due to fracking companies, all making this project right on? That is something I can definitely communicate with our team and with the artists, and that is an option that we can explore. could we see another question from our commissioner? Could we see the image of the future building on the site again? Color choice could correspond. I think I saw some blue in the structure. That is correct. There is some blue in the structure, so if we want to, be mindful of what the nearby facility would look like and selecting the flowers as well, that's a very good point. Are there any other comments or questions? Yes. Yes. So we have people responding to each other's comments here about great comments about combining info about indigenous medicine uses in these flowers. And it's interesting that you say that because the artist, Leticia Huerta, is interested in the medicinal uses as well. She's inspired by those. We have a second for the idea of education surrounding traditional indigenous medicine and climate issues. And Society of Native Nations, Frankie Prima, for info on fracking prevention to protect wildlands and habitat. Thank you for your comment. All right. This is really great input that we are receiving. Thank you, everybody. We're going to wrap up this conversation, and we're very excited about this blossoming project, every pun intended. So lastly, I do want to share that the recorded video of this session will be available on our website on October 19th. So if you want to watch it again, or even better, share with your neighbors and friends who could not make it tonight. Please tell them to visit our website. We appreciate you and your participation. Feel free to reach me with any further comments or questions by October 19th. My contact information is on the screen. My email is bianca.alvarez@sanantonio.gov, and my phone number is 210-207-6963. Next slide. And that concludes our conversation for tonight. Thank you all and be well.